'Tis time for the Texas Renaissance Festival. Over 400 artisans and craftspeople await you in our beautifully recreated 16th century village. Enjoy a worldwide menu featuring savory dishes, tasty sweets, and a variety of drinks. Revel in the finest musicians, entertainers, and nightly fireworks. And you can stay the weekend with our Stay and Play Pass. Open weekends and Thanksgiving Friday from October 11th through November 30th. Get tickets and more at texrenfest.com. Family merriment awaits. Huzzah! Today on CityCast Austin, it's the Friday News Roundup. We've got a special guest on today to chat with us about some of the stories in the news in Austin this week. We're going to talk about the latest on ICE activity in town, the local fallout from the death of Charlie Kirk, and how to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month. It's Friday, September 19th. I'm Nikki Devon, and this is what Austin's talking about. Hello, I'm here with Nancy Flores, editor and publisher of Austin Vida magazine. What's up, Nancy?
Hey, great to be with y'all.
We're glad to have you back. And we're here with executive producer Eva Ruth Moravec. What's up, Eva Ruth?
What up, TGIF?
So first off, we kind of have to talk about this because it's been all over the place and now it has reached our city. The reverberations of conservative activist Charlie Kirk's death have been felt this week right here in Central Texas, from public school teachers and staff to students to more. So this week, the Texas Education Agency announced it was investigating at least 280 complaints of school teachers and staff posting negative comments about Kirk after he was killed in Utah. There are investigations going on statewide, honestly, but are being felt here. So school district in Georgetown and Hutto, and at Texas State University, which is just down the road in San Marcos. Social media is being scrutinized, which is
crazy.
I gotta say, it's crazy.
Creepy. That's what a lot of these staffers, it's like people pulling up their social media and posting and being like, hey, superintendent, are you okay with this in your district?
Yeah, exactly. And, this is all happening while President Donald Trump said he was going to be targeting, and I'm putting in heavy quotations here, the radical left. And now the Texas legislature has now formed committees to study free speech on campuses. These committees are going to issue reports on bias, discourse, and freedom of speech, according to whatever press release they released.
It was, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick and the House Speaker, Dustin Burrows, put out a press release jointly saying, we're setting up these committees. This is what they're going to be studying. And they're also going to be looking into how these two new laws that are now in effect, how those are being implemented. So one of them requires committees to review courses at universities. And this other law that they'll be looking into restricts when and how on-campus protests can be done. And we just saw the impact of this recently at UT, because I don't know if y'all saw this story, but there was a report of medics that are typically at our protests in Austin to just any protest. I mean, they don't pick sides. They're just medics. And that they were not able to get to UT, to a protest on the UT campus.
I think the thing that is upsetting for me is it's all done under the guise of protecting, again, in heavy quotation marks, free speech. But when they're but we're going to restrict what you can say and how you can say it and what kind of protests you can have. Right now, all these things have been happening around this Charlie Kirk thing, right? We've all been seeing it. Texas lawmakers are trying to get a statue of Charlie Kirk erected at the Capitol.
Take a deep breath.
They're talking about this man like he's a civil rights icon who should be honored and recognized accordingly. My biggest question about all of this is who decides who is a civil rights icon? Who decides? And who's independent? Whose rights are we talking about? Because right now, if we're covering everybody's civil rights, we have a long list of people that need statues that come way before Charlie Kirk. if we're only talking about white people civil rights, we still have a long list of people. It's just the whole thing is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Do you know they canceled Jimmy Kimmel's show?
And then there was a Texas State University student who was actually expelled for his actions at a vigil. He was basically protesting the vigil. And he basically, from what I understand, he made like a gesture, like reenacting, the shooting of Charlie Kirk and sort of like mocking his death in that. And the university was like, no, this goes against our values. And so it's interesting to see how these like issues are being categorized. Because is it really free speech? But I don't know. I'm like so confused by this.
Yeah, it's definitely just, troubling times for free speech right now. And, I do think it's important to note, and especially like, Nikki took a breath earlier, like I'm having to, struggle with it too. And I'm sure a lot of people are, of like, balancing of like, how do we stay informed and, keeping up with what's going on and making sure, we're able to make the decisions and, that need to be done in our families and everything, while making sure like we're still okay. And we actually did a story at Austin Vida we actually reached out to some local therapists and asked them, how can we cope? How can we get through this? Because a lot of things are coming at us at once.
Listen, a lot of us have to be online. Being online is kind of the way that we move through the world for a lot of people. And so the idea that you can't express yourself on something that was created so that you can express yourself is absolutely fucking ridiculous. It just, all of this, it makes me want to come unglued. If I have to hear, and I say have to, and we'll put that in quotes, if I gotta hear every racist, homophobic idea that comes out of people's brains, out of people's mouths, if I gotta see every time I see some comment about, what's happening with ICE and immigration and if I gotta read that and it is just blasted, it's coming at me in 4K, just coming at me all the time. And I gotta sit there and I gotta swallow it. And I have to be like, you know what? This is a part of free speech. And if I don't want to look at it, I can go somewhere else. I can move around. I can engage or I cannot engage. But ultimately, I have control over what I consume, right? Like my feed sends me the things that I,
click on, interact with.
Right.
Yeah.
It is a platform that is created for what you want to engage in, right? That is the entire purpose of it. So if I go on my social media and I express myself, whether it be for or against whoever you are, right? Like people have been spouting drivel on social media for decades, right? It is so concerning to me that now, because this one person, and never mind all of the, we've been seeing so much violence against our community, against Black people, against other brown people, against immigrants. I'm not even going to get into Gaza. We've been seeing violence for so long, but now, all of a sudden, because this person who spouted hate, who said vile things about people, and now we're like, okay, this is out of control. Now we've crossed the line. This violence has crossed the line. Nobody can say anything about this. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. And his death is bad. His death is negative. It's not a good thing. We don't want anyone to be killed in such a violent way. He meant a lot to people. Take that for what it is. It's not saying he is, I don't know that should saint him. I do feel like in the aftermath of his death, he's being put on this pedestal and sort of, literally they're trying to put him on a pedestal in the Capitol in our backyard, but put him on a pedestal and say, oh, he was just encouraging free speech. He was just providing this opportunity for free speech. It's interesting to see, like you're saying, Nikki, he did say some things that are very upsetting during his life. And for that to now be kind of spun as, oh, he was just providing this platform for free speech. And then if you're against that, then your speech is being, targeted. It's very convoluted and makes no sense.
I feel like the idea of getting on our teachers, our educators' social media, which is the way sometimes that we cope and try to find community. We try to find community like, are y'all seeing this shit? Is anybody else seeing this shit? It's not just a way for people to talk about how they feel, but it's also a way to find community. It's also a way to be like, am I crazy? Am I going crazy? Or is our country really reverting? It should be okay for them to express themselves just like everyone else can express themselves without fear of losing their livelihood. And to use someone's social media as a witch hunt or whatever because they're saying something that you don't agree with is bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think.
And it's weird also that our comedians are under attack. And I have to wonder, right here in Austin, we have some venues for stand-up comedy that can be where things can get a little brash. Like for a lot of stand-up comedians, that's the shtick, is to find these things that we can make a lot of fun of. And sometimes they're dark. Like, since when are we policing comedians' language and
when
saying
it's white people
that it's safe or not? Yeah.
When it's white Republicans. That's what everybody else can get it. Women, we've been getting it for years.
Right.
Brown people, black people, gay people, we've been getting it for years.
What if somebody at Joe Rogan's, the comedy mothership, what if it's them saying it? Is that okay? Is that because it's, maybe a white man? Is a white man able to say?
Let's find out. I think we should keep our eye out on this because, our educators are catching hell right now as it is. My partner is an educator. So we're constantly worried about what she will and won't be able to teach. We constantly worry about we've got our eye on oh shit, okay, let's be careful. You know what I mean? We're going to have to keep an eye on it because I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. Step into the conversation shaping Texas's future at the Texas Tribune Festival. The Texas Tribune is bringing together inspiring thinkers, leaders, and innovators to discuss the issues that matter to you. Dive into unforgettable conversations spanning education, the economy, healthcare, energy, technology, public safety, culture, the arts, and more. TribFest gives you an up-close look at how big ideas take shape and how they affect your life. You'll connect with fellow Texans, engage directly with experts and leaders, and leave inspired to turn your boldest ideas into reality. And y'all, this isn't just another political event. It's a catalyst for shaping the future of Texas today. So mark your calendar, November 13th through 15th in downtown Austin. Get info and tickets at tribfest.org. Imagine this, your next podcast recorded in the same studio where you're hearing this right now. That's Trick Hat Workway. Trick Hat is Austin's most hospitality-driven co-working space. And yes, they've got a pro-level podcast studio designed for creators, teams, and businesses who want high-quality recordings without the stress of hunting down space or gear. Just show up, plug in, and hit record. Outside the studio, Trick Hat's got you covered. From private offices to dedicated desks, they offer flexible co-working options to fit any business or entrepreneur's needs. And can we talk about the perks? Freshly brewed coffee from Manana, endless snacks, and crispy Diet Cokes. But what really makes Trick Hat different is the energy. From weekly networking opportunities to community trick chats, it's more than a place to work. It's where Austin comes to connect, create, and have fun doing it. Whether you're producing your next big idea or just need a space that feels good to work in, Trick Hat Workway is waiting for you, where it's always old Austin, new tricks. Visit trickhatworkway.com to learn more today. So we haven't heard a ton about detainments and deportations in Austin following President Donald Trump's new approach to immigration. But this week, one local man's story took a lot of us by surprise. During a routine check-in recently, C. Ray Musa Traore was detained by U.S. Immigration, Customs, and Enforcement. His lawyer said he had legal documentation to stay in the country as an asylum seeker. He entered the U.S. illegally in September 2023, and he is originally from Mauritania. The Texas Department of Public Safety made other arrests in August in Austin when they stopped a van taking folks to a construction site.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot that we aren't hearing about is what these two kind of things make me feel like. If there's one 30-year-old dog handler who's got this clear path to citizenship, he's doing all the things, he's going to his meeting, like there must be others that are getting caught up that we're not hearing about.
Oh, I have no doubt.
Well, Nikki, it's like you said earlier, like where's that line, and if it's now you do have legal documentation, but there's like these technicalities and, ever since the inauguration, there's just like we've seen this, heightened fear, in the immigrant community. And I mean, unfortunately, it's not the first time that the immigrant community has had to like face these type of issues. And, just right. There's been a lot of rumors, a lot of misinformation, and that all just adds to like the heightened fear. And so especially like, cases like this, it's like, well, but he had this documentation, but that, and so like what's true, what are we not hearing? All of that just kind of adds to that sentiment, of panic. Something that we've been seeing, in Austin Vida is we have seen like some of the community organizations like mobilize quickly, but yeah, a lot of time like this is also like unprecedented in many ways as well.
Yeah, I mean, this guy was from Mauritania. If the line is no illegal, immigration, you have to draw the line somewhere. But it's just, it seems like the net is being cast a lot wider also. Like all immigrants are feeling this kind of fear, maybe where in the past that wasn't really the case.
Well, and also, here's the thing. With the new ruling, even though it hasn't been ruled here, with the new ruling saying that, like, you can, they're encouraging people to racially profile, right?
In order to enforce the immigration laws, yeah.
So it's like if you look like you might be an immigrant or if you're speaking another language. And I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. How is that gonna work, first of all, in Austin? How's that gonna work in Texas when so many people I know speak Spanish? So many people I know speak other languages. You have no idea you don't know anything about somebody by looking at them. You're making wild assumptions and it's super, super dangerous. So it's that. And then secondly, if in fact the dog whistle is, it's all about crime and illegal activity and illegal immigrants. But what we're seeing is that the people that are being harassed mostly are people that are doing things in quote unquote the right way, the legal way. It's like it's arbitrary. It's naive of me to think that Austin won't stand for it. And I keep holding out hope that we will be a city that are going to watch out for our neighbors. And if we see something, we'll say something. If we see something, we'll talk to people and ask questions. But I don't feel like the brown community is safe here anymore. And that sucks.
Yeah, something we've been doing at Austin Vida is, we're doing Know Your Resources. What are the legal, resources that you need to know, the counseling resources, all of these kind of things that you don't think about like in the aftermath. And you also don't have to be like affected personally for you to like feel this, and so just your Austin neighbors and just your community, your church, all of these different, aspects of our neighborhoods are affected. It's just kind of, bringing that kind of light of hope that these organizations are still doing the work in spite of everything and just rolling up their sleeves in like the, darkest of times to do this. All these, like weekly gatherings and things like that to make sure that people know where to go and what to do.
Yeah. I'm glad that there are so many organizations and outlets like Austin Vita and people doing that work to get the information out to people however they can, because it does seem like you're saying, Nancy, like it's in all these different communities. If you don't think that this is affecting your local network, your local community, pay more attention. There was a really great story that we talked about last week in the Statesman about a school, an elementary school that had been affected, heavily by DPS presence, and people were really afraid to take their kids to school. We talked to Mondo Rayo recently, taco journalist of town, talking about how it's affecting, this fear is affecting restaurants and taquerias. Maybe if you don't think that this is affecting us right here in Austin, and I don't know, open your eyes.
Yeah, pay attention to what's happening around you, and then research on how you can help. Research on what you can do, how you can assist. There's a justiceformusa.com. There's a page that you can send a note to a representative. There are all these ways that you can help, and Musa is spelled Mussa. I don't want to sound, dramatic, but they're snatching people off the streets and out of court and off their job sites, and they're being intimidating in schools. And so it is happening in our city now. I would always say, I'm like, oh, I'm from Texas, but I'm from Austin. I don't know. Austin has never felt so much like Texas as it does now. Does that make sense?
Because there's nothing anyone can do. It's just all coming down from up high, and who is standing up in the way?
Right. Yeah.
Like we used to be, at one point, Austin was a sanctuary city back when there were sanctuary cities, and there was a state law that says we can't have sanctuary cities. So now we're a welcoming city. No. What protection does that give anyone? Other than what you're saying is by your neighbors, your community. I don't know.
So everybody just be on the lookout. As you can tell, I am trying to be optimistic, but I am fucking over it, if I have not said that enough in this episode. We are currently in Hispanic Heritage Month, and it celebrates the experiences, cultures, and contributions of Latino and Hispanic communities in the U.S. Now, it's held at this time because it's when many countries in the region celebrate their liberation from colonizers. So DSA de Septiembre was this week. And the month is considered September 15th through October 15th. And so there's going to be opportunities to celebrate all over Central Texas, all over Austin. About a third of Austin's population is Hispanic or Latino, and people are scared. We've been talking about this. And so I want to talk a little bit about how should Austinites be celebrating? What does this month mean to Austinites right now? Do we think that things will be tempered because of immigration crackdowns? I want to get into it.
Yeah, I mean, this Hispanic Heritage Month definitely hits different this year. Some of these festivals are annual events in different cities across the country that they have been canceled this year, or they have been, toned down. And, I was just seeing everywhere from South Dakota to North Carolina that this is happening, that Austin is still having a lot of celebrations and a lot of big ones, means a lot to the community here. I was actually celebrating the SSAs at Republic Square Park, in downtown Austin earlier this week. And after going to so many of the El Grito celebrations over the years, I do have to say that this one just I was emotional to see. And you could feel there's something different, in the air. Usually during these El Grito celebrations, the Mexican General Consul General, who's based here in Austin, gives the cry for independence. And there was that moment, on the stage, he's giving the cry for independence. When I panned to see everybody who was right in the kind of front row of the stage, just the emotion that in their eyes, I was just it got me and that's never happened, to me personally at one of these celebrations. And it just feels like in the context of what is happening, in the country, what's happening locally, Austinites could still gather in downtown Austin and in this like family friendly environment, like, peaceful gathering that was like uplifting. Like there was just something, something different in the air. And, I'm grateful that, the folks who organized, were, still able to, to keep moving forward, with that event, because I feel like, especially this year was like very, more important than ever to do so.
Yeah, there are all these events that are happening throughout the city. Do you have any events that you are like, make sure that you go to?
Yeah. And I think especially this year, like people may have some like kind of mixed emotions about, that word celebration, but it also feels like that's also what's needed at the moment. A lot of folks don't know that Austin has sister cities like all across the world. And two of them are Latin American cities, one in Lima, Peru, the other in Saltillo, Mexico. And so we're also going to see like Peru and Peruvian culture in the forefront this year, which I'm really glad to see. Everything from Austin Public Library, Cine Las Americas is also showing some films. These are also films that you don't get to see every day, like in the theaters, and they're hard to access. I know you guys have had Alex Marrero on the show, on the podcast. And so he's going to be, curating some like Peruvian rhythms at the, Austin Central Library. That's happening like later in the month, and just cooking demos. And it's just like a chance to, even if that's not your culture, this is also an opportunity to understand, other people's traditions and customs. And if you're like, well, what, I feel hopeless in this time, what can I do? Even just like going to a cooking demo and learning how to like, oh, these are like the ingredients. I never knew, even like a small step like that is really goes a long way, I think.
Go and spend your money at these places, because the taquerias, a lot of people are scared to operate their business, or they're scared to go and get their normal, morning taco. That's what Mondo was talking about. He's like, not only are people afraid to like work, there are also people that are afraid to come and, do business. So make sure that you support our businesses in the city.
Broaden your horizon in any way you can, even if it's just a little bit. And it could be helpful too to show other people support, that they're not the only ones. I know I hear you on like not saying the word celebration, or that word being kind of, I don't know, confusing right now, but like, I feel like we have to celebrate our country. I feel like that shouldn't be a controversial thing to say, that like, we love our country. Like, I'm proud that our country is comprised of people from different places. Like, I think that's amazing, and to just, I want to like not let other people take that identity away from us is kind of how I feel too. Like, no, this is our America too. This is our Texas. This is our Austin. Like, we get to take up space, and if you feel comfortable, put your elbows out so you can help other people take up more space.
Especially in a city like Austin that, we pride ourselves on having a creative community, on highlighting like local music and arts. And a lot of that also includes, the Latino creatives who make this city special, and that's what, this month brings, like a little bit of everything. Later at Antone's on September 28th, there's an Argentine DJ and producer. It's Chancha Viercircuito. And this is one of my faves for like blending Latin American folk music with electronica. And this, Chancha was here during many South Bys ago. And I've just like been a fan ever since. And this is like the music that I write to and edit to. And, it's definitely one that, you should check out.
We're talking about Hispanic Heritage Month. On September 30th, I'm putting this in y'all's minds so that you can go do it. Roots of Pan Dulce is happening. It's a collaboration between Joe's Bakery and the French Legation State Historic Site, and they're going to explore the history and connection of Pan Dulce and East Austin. So it'll be cake and conchas and other sweetbreads, and there'll be like an archival sound installation of Joe's Bakery founder, Joe Avila, speaking about Mexican-American baking traditions.
Nice.
Which has me very, very
It's going to be
excited.
awesome.
And then lastly, but not least, I just also want to put this on y'all's radar. La Lome is coming back to Austin. They will be playing at ACL, but October 5th, they will be at Antone's nightclub. And I've heard me talk about La Lome a million times on this podcast because, again, I am obsessed and I love them. And you should go to Antone's and see them.
Oh, I have one more. There's an event over at the Whitliff Collections. So if you want to do a little drive to San Marcos on the 25th, September 25th, they are having an exhibit on Selena's legacy, but they're bringing in her fashion designer and fashion consultant. And so there's a conversation with him. And the exhibit, luckily it runs to December, so you have some time to catch the exhibit, but that conversation will happen on opening night on September 25th.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you're definitely speaking my language right now. You're definitely speaking my language.
If you're looking for more ideas of ways to, participate, there's a great Austin Vita guide to events going on. And then we have a Hey Austin one that we'll put in the show notes.
Well, and so that actually is going to take us right into talking about events. So, Eva Ruth, do you want to talk about any events first? Because I got a long list.
Yes. The thing that I have to mention that I am so excited about because it's just unhinged and so Austin to me, and I cannot freaking wait, is on Sunday. I'm going to the Bass Concert Hall to see Austin's son, Matthew McConaughey, perform his poetry book, Poems and Prayers, to the music of Jon Batiste. And this event has blown my mind so much. I cannot believe Matt McConaughey is doing spoken word poetry with Jon Batiste. I mean, in my opinion, he is one of the best musicians ever. I just think he's incredible. He's a genius. And
he is a genius. He's wonderful. Yeah, I agree with you on that one.
I'm just like, what? This is happening in Austin?
Wow.
Right?
I mean, listen. There's it's just weird enough to where I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. So wait, Jon Batiste is going to be playing while he reads poetry? No.
And is his own original poetry, right? Is that his book? Yeah.
Yes, y'all. Yes.
Okay. You have to let us know how that goes.
Tell me that is not intriguing as all get out. 3:30 Sunday.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. What about you? Are there any other events, Nancy, that you haven't mentioned that you want to bring up?
Yeah, Centro Americanto Fest is happening this weekend. It's a 2-day event over at the Asian American Resource Center. And it's one day is all dedicated to films of Central America. That's on Friday. And Saturday is dedicated to music. And so it's everywhere from, Nicaragua, El Salvador. Friday has vendors, so you can also partake in the food before, listening to the music. They're bringing in some of the actors and producers, behind the film. So there's just a chance to do Q&As and stuff with, again, films that are hard to find here in Austin that you're not going to get to see on the big screen.
That's awesome. So, okay, I'm going to try to keep this short. Let's start with tonight, Con Mucho Amor is being put on by Bobby Pudrido at Old 6th Street. And it's going to be, if this is your bag, of course. It's supported by Future Front of Texas and Downtown Austin Alliance. It's just going to be a one-night celebration of queer coming of age, drag, performance, ceremony, dancing. There's going to be, they're going to perform quinceañera traditions. There's going to be some queer archival information. It's going to be kind of great. I'm excited. There's going to be dancing, horchata. I don't know. It's going to be an LGBTQ plus testament to resilience, joy, and the softness of Southern BIPOC queer people. I'm super into it. I'm here for it. And then Saturday nights, Hotel Vegas has Cumbia night. And y'all know how much I love cumbia. There's going to be free dance lessons, free cumbia dance lessons. If you're a night owl like me, it starts at like 9 p.m. and it's featuring Paranderos de la Cumbia. So y'all, if you've never been to Hotel Vegas for Cumbia night, they have like 2 or 3 DJs. They show you how to do cumbia first, and then they just like let you go on the dance floor. And it is a lot of fun, especially if you don't mind getting sweaty and just like meeting new people and, I don't know, learning how to do something together. It's kind of one of my favorite things in the city. Okay, so you guys have all the information that you need. Please just be on the lookout for fun stuff to do this weekend. Let us know what you get into. Support our brown communities. Make sure you keep your eye out. But also, it's Hispanic Heritage Month. So go out and get in the city and do something fun and learn something new. Nancy, thank you so much for being here with us. Eva Ruth, thank you for being here. I appreciate y'all so much.
Thank you, Nikki. Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you. Gracias.
Have a great weekend.
So before we go, I want to remind you that we are having a party. Well, sort of. We are all going to hang out at Central Machine Works on the 23rd for Ham Day. And it is a neighbor event, a neighbors only event for us. Now, you can become a neighbor today. You already know how, but I'm going to remind you. If you go to membership.citycast.fm, you can become a CityCast Austin neighbor and you can hang out with us at our little membership event at Central Machine Works. So hopefully we will see y'all there on the 23rd. Again, go to membership.citycast.fm if you want to join our cute little membership club. That's all for today here on CityCast Austin. Our executive producer is Eva Ruth Morvek. Our producers this week are Elizabeth Kama, Lizzie Goldsmith, Noah Schneiderman, and Alyssa Castles. And I'm your host, Nikki Devon. Our Hey Austin newsletter editors this week are Natalia Aldana and Kelsey Bradshaw. Music is by Nelson Valente Aguilar of Como Las Movies, with additional music by All the Kimonos, Andrew Shepard, DP, and 747 from Triple Scoop Music via Getty Images. If you enjoyed the show, why not tell a friend, rate the show, leave us a review, and subscribe to our Hey Austin newsletter. And don't forget, if you really love us and you want to support this show and get great perks, become a CityCast Austin neighbor at membership.citycast.fm. We'll be back Monday morning with more news from around the city. Bye, y'all.